You're listening to the Geekscape Network.
Time to fire up the VCR. This one's my favorite. That was gold.
Welcome to Analog Jones in the Temple of Film. I'm Steve.
And I'm Matt.
And we're a VHS podcast that looks at the box art, trailers, and behind the scenes. And this week is another listener-submitted pick. Matt, what do we got?
We want to pull up that email we got here, and I will read it off to our dear listeners.
Boom, ready.
This one comes from Jackie from the Jersey Ghouls. We had a list, just a list this time, and it was Big Man on Campus, Hook, Nothing But Trouble, and then a separate list of That Thing You Do in PCU. We chose Hook.
Believe your eyes. Believe in fairies and lost boys. Find one pure, innocent thought and hold on to it. Because what used to make you happy will make you fly.
It's Peter Pan. Dustin Hoffman, Robin Williams, Julia Roberts, Bob Hoskins.
Peter Pan's my
Hook. Rated PG, parental guidance suggested.
Swashbuckling Hook. Fantasy adventure. Kids throwing green, blue, yellow. I don't know what that stuff
Paints
was.
at each other, yes.
Yeah.
I loved all these suggestions personally. I don't know how your thoughts are on those movies, but the ones I've seen anyway, I really like these picks, and it was a little tough to decide, but it just seemed like Hook, besides convenience sake that I had it, it seems like really in our wheelhouse of like the shit we talk about all the time.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Spielberg, Amblin, whatever. I mean, it's just a fantasy adventure. I was of this age. I think I was like 9 when this came out, 9 or 10, so right up my alley. You were just born.
Yeah, I was like 2 when this came out, but this was one of my like kind of earliest. This is one of my earliest VHSs, and that's the one we watched. Is like my childhood from like 93 VHS. So yeah, this was an early one for me too. This one I saw at a very, very young age and was pretty obsessed with for a while. Went through a phase where I didn't like it and then came back around to it and realized kind of why I was obsessed with it when I was a little kid.
Yeah, I had the clamshell. I don't know if you remember that one.
Yeah.
And I have no idea what happened to it because when I went home to look through a lot of VHSs, couldn't find this one. A little disappointed. But then again, I found so many other ones that I kind of forgot.
Yeah, right. There's enough there.
So I did not watch this in the theater, getting into my history on it. I know you didn't. Well,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I either saw this VHS or like our pay-per-view that we were stealing. One of the two is how I saw it first.
No judgment here.
Every family in the 90s stole cable. It's just a fact.
I think they even made a Simpsons episode out of it.
They probably did.
Probably, yeah.
Because everyone did it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you missed this one in theaters?
Yep, missed this one. I guess my mom was too busy taking us to like RoboCop 2.
Yes.
The super violent ones. She's like, ooh, this one's a little softer. We better not. This is a non-threatening fantasy adventure film. Better skip it and go straight to the murder death.
Right. But like you were saying, you were like 8 or 9 or whatever when this came out. I wouldn't have wanted to see this movie at 9 either. This is like for little kids and then like adults, I feel like. It kind of skips that middle, like 9 to teenagers aren't going to like this movie.
I agree. Even after watching it with this one, because not to disappoint Jackie with it, this is a mixed bag to me. I love a couple aspects. I like quite a few aspects. And then there's a few where I'm like, nope, it's just not doing it for me. So we'll get into it when we discuss it. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe you can turn me around on it. Who knows?
Probably not, because I think all my love for it's just personal. I don't think I can defend it in a way.
Oh, so
but
it's
let's see where we go with it.
Is it like a nostalgia love? Or
It's more of a feeling I get when I watch this as opposed to like content, moving me or whatever.
Yeah, I get that.
But we'll see. We'll see.
I mean, they spent $70 million on this, so you better get a feeling.
I mean, every dollar's on screen.
No
you can't
doubt.
argue that.
No, the one thing on this where I said, a few of the things I like is costumes are amazing.
Yeah, I mean, especially just like Hook's thing in general. His whole look, the makeup, the costume, everything is wonderful.
I mean,
But yeah, all the costumes are great.
The sets.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus, it's ridiculous. And you know what's amazing about it? All this movie is indoors.
Yeah. Yeah.
All in the Sony lots.
Yeah.
Or
Is
no, is it Sony
yeah,
lots?
this is
yeah,
a,
it's a Sony lots.
Sony
yeah.
one. This is even like the ocean and stuff. That's all.
Yeah, it's like
soundstage.
matte painting,
Yeah.
and then they just put.
But it looks
you know.
amazing.
Yeah, it does. It's just kind of amazing that like maybe you should have shot outside on some of it, like with the ocean. Just my opinion. I couldn't tell the first time I watched this. This time around watching it, I could tell more.
I bet Spielberg was just like, I ain't fucking doing the ocean ever again. And I don't blame him. If I had the option, I'd be like, shoot inside where I can control the volume, I can control the lighting, I can control everything. Yeah, I want that one.
Yeah, speaking of the big dogs on this, Steven Spielberg directed, produced by Kathleen Kennedy. I mean, we had Frank Marshall, her husband, which, I mean, he's no, slump himself.
Yeah.
And then we just have a lot of big players on this. Jim Hart and Nick Castle, which was originally part of this. I'll get into when we get into like the fun facts of this. So there's some big players behind the scenes on this.
Yeah, I mean, there's no short of that in the cast either. I mean, this is
Yeah.
a stacked cast as well.
Yeah, Robin Williams, Dustin Hoffman, Julia Roberts, Bob Hoskins. We've got, well, I'm not going to read the kids, but Maggie Smith.
Yeah.
And then we've got Gwyneth Paltrow makes an appearance at 19 years old.
Yeah, an early appearance, which we have the. Do you have the behind the scenes on that as well on Gwyneth?
No.
I can talk about that.
Oh,
then when we
good,
get there.
good. Yeah.
This one. This one is just like we've been saying. Every dollar's on screen. Stacked crew, stacked cast, just like a big movie. But like it's weird because I wasn't conscious, I guess, when this sort of came out in theaters and was being kind of advertised and everything like that. I don't remember this one kind of being shoved down my throat at all, even when it came to like HBO and pay-per-view or wherever I saw this one wasn't like, I don't know, as apparent as some of the other, like when we were talking about Twister the other week or whatever, like that movie was just everywhere. This one didn't feel everywhere.
No, I think this one gets lost in the shuffle, and I don't know if it's because it's kind of floating with superheroes, because Peter Pan's kind of a weird character. I don't know if you put it in fairy tales, folklore, superhero. You know what I mean? Like he can fly. Some like kind of superhero-y.
It kind of has the Disney appeal because of the animated one as well, even though this has nothing to do with that version or whatever, but like it has that kind of draw. Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird one.
Yeah, was this shuffled also because of how many freaking adaptations of Peter Pan there is?
Yeah, probably also.
Way too many.
Nobody was like, hey, Spielberg, you should do a Peter Pan. Everybody was like, we've got enough of those.
It's like, what if I do Peter Pan grown up?
Whoa!
Whatever, Spielberg, you make enough money. I mean, speaking of money on this, it made just over $300 million worldwide. So, again, another Spielberg. It's not a huge Spielberg moneymaker, but it's still more than doubled, tripled its budget. So, what am I talking about? Quadrupled its budget. Jesus.
It made money.
Yeah.
It made a little bit of money.
It's just stupid that like this one can be considered not really liked by the critics, and it's still just like, yeah, but Spielberg's in it, so boom. Or Spielberg made it, so boom.
Yeah,
Money.
I think this one, though, I mean, despite the fact it made hella money, it has found kind of its audience now. I feel like it's more talked about. I think in like the 2000s and stuff when Spielberg was putting out the movies like Minority Report and AI, this one was just completely forgotten. But I think now as people look back on Spielberg's whole career, in our Ready Player One era, this one does, I think, justifiably so come up a little bit more often than it was being before.
When I started to hear it come back up was when NBC did its live Peter Pan. Remember, Christopher Walken was Hook, and Whoa, I forget the girl's name from Girls, HBO.
What's her name? Oh, the guy got fired. Her dad got
Yeah,
fired.
I don't know.
Williams.
Whatever.
Allison Williams.
Allison
Got there.
Williams,
We
yeah.
got there.
Yeah, I remember it came back up and people were like, Jesus Christ, I thought Hook from 91 was bad. That's awesome compared to this. And I was like, wait a minute, you think that movie's bad? And
now
it started
everybody-
discussions about it.
And now everybody kind of like loves it again, or
Yeah.
like moderately loves it again. Like it's coming back. So I think we're talking about it at the right time.
Thank you, Jackie, for the suggestions. So why don't you break down Hook's box art?
Yeah, so we get a painted cover here, which is I'm assuming the poster as well, or one of the posters. Is this Drew Struzan or whatever?
I don't know. I didn't actually check.
I didn't either. We don't do research here. It's fine. But it's pretty great. It's like a map with the burnt edges, and it has our focal main characters of Hook and Peter Pan with Dustin Hoffman and Robin Williams right in there in the center with the Hook in between, because everybody, 90s kids are going to see the Hook in action.
Damn
so
right.
that is why that is in the center here. We get like Bob Hoskins underneath Hook, and then we get the Lost Boys at the bottom with the crocodile clock, which is another, draw for 90s kids, I think. And then just kind of tacked on right by Hook, much like she is in the movie, Julia Roberts as Tinkerbell. Kind of afterthought on this poster / cover, just kind of like she is in the movie. And then our cast here is Dustin Hoffman, Robin Williams, Julia Roberts, Bob Hoskins. Dustin Hoffman taking top billing in this one, but I think rightfully so, because he's giving sort of the biggest performance in the movie. Yeah, that's our cover. It's a good, attractive cover for kids, I think. It has kind of the Goonies kind of adventure thing going on for it.
It's exactly what I thought. I was like, yeah, it was Drew. Struzan.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't. That's good to know that. You think I would have known that, but yes, very much the Goonies feel. Even the color palette.
Yeah, the same kind of like that tan brown map, old map look.
The swashbuckling pirate has that type of browns and tans. A fun look.
Yeah.
You can do a lot with it. I don't know if that look works anymore.
No, I think that died in the 90s.
Yeah.
I don't think people want that kind of stuff anymore. They did a little with National Treasure, a little bit, but it still has the blue orange that everything from 2003 had.
Oh, God.
With a little bit of the burnt map aesthetic. I think one of the things that really sells this cover, and it's just kind of a subtle thing, I think the fact that Bob Hoskins is yelling on the cover is attractive to kids too, because it's like, ooh, there's going to be adventure, like this guy's intense. Because everybody else is pretty neutral on it. So seeing him on there is like, oh man, there's going to be some rollicking stuff happening in this film.
That's because when you put it in the movie, Smee's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And he's amazing, because Bob Hoskins never disappoints. Just listen to our hour-and-a-half long episode on Super Mario Brothers. I like on the side of this tape here, we get the publicity stills of Robin Williams on one side looking like, like a lost little kid, like a lost boy, and then Hook looking menacing on the side. I think that's really fun. I like their little side pictures they chose. We flip it over to the back here, and here's our description. If you don't know what Hook is already at this point. A high-flying adventure from the magic of Steven Spielberg. Hook stars Robin Williams as a grown-up Peter Pan and Dustin Hoffman as the infamous Captain Hook. Joining the fun is Julia Roberts as Tinkerbell, Bob Hoskins as Pirate Smee, and Maggie Smith as Granny Wendy Darling, who must convince the middle-aged lawyer Peter Banning that he was once the legendary Peter Pan. And so the adventure begins anew, with Peter off to Neverland to save his 2 children from Captain Hook. Along the way, he rediscovers the power of imagination, of friendship, of magic. A classic tale updated for children of all ages, Hook, nominated for 5 1991 Academy Awards, including Best Visual Effects, is a 10. A film that will entertain generations from now. From Gary Franklin, KABC TV. We get another quote on top from Mr. Gene Shalit. Remember that guy?
Ooh, Gene Shalit.
Get ready for adventure. Steven Spielberg has scored another triumph. And then our pictures, we get more publicity stills of Hook, Pan, Tinkerbell, and then we get another Struzan drawn image of the Lost Boys fighting the pirates in between our description and the credit block. PG.
Yeah, well, you know what? That description's not too long. At first, when you were reading it, I was like, it's getting a little long. But I think it cut off just in time.
Yeah,
there's an art to these descriptions, too.
There really is. And it basically is saying, like, it's Peter Pan, it's just they're older. You know, like, it's still Peter Pan. Like, there's nothing really much different from what you already know. I mean, they're just older.
Yeah, the log line to this is just really simple. We're doing Peter Pan, but what if Peter Pan grew old?
Yeah, but it's still Peter Pan.
I'm just saying, like, that's how they sold this film. I get it. It's. I would have bought it too if I was a studio, especially when you bring in all these powerhouses.
Yeah. I mean, they tried it again this year with Christopher Robin. They're still doing this, you know. What happens if they get older? Yeah. What's it like? And that movie's cute, too, but, like, I like, obviously, Hook a lot better.
You've got the built-in audience for it already.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I get why Disney's doing this. It's money-making.
Yeah.
And if you get someone who can give you a good screenplay, it's, you know, find a director that won't fuck it up.
Yeah.
It's kind of how it comes down to. When you have a built-in audience, you have to go out of your way to fuck it up.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, imagine making the video game adaptation of Doom. You're like, oh, sweet, everyone loves this game. Oh, it's about hell and then fighting all these demon dogs? Let me fuck it up for you.
Yeah, sometimes these adaptations do really go out of their way, like to be like, nah, we're gonna insult everything you like about the series. But yeah, this one works because it is just Peter Pan. Yeah. And it's like, okay, but they're older and it's with people you like, you know?
Okay, now when we stick in this tape, I was pretty disappointed.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I feel like this one even just like starts sooner than all the other tapes that we watched. Like, I put this in and the movie was on, you know?
Well, like the big TriStar, you know, animation comes up and the what is it, like a horse running?
Yeah, it's
something.
Is it a unicorn or just like a Pegasus? It's one of those.
Whatever.
But it runs up to the logo.
I've seen it 100 times and I can't remember because like my brain shuts off because it's like, okay, it's beginning. And that's right when this happened. I put in this tape. I was like, you gotta be kidding me! Amblin Entertainment, and TriStar, and we don't get one trailer.
The only thing that makes me think of why maybe we didn't is because this movie's fucking long. This movie's 2.5 hours long.
Yes, that's part of my problem with this. There's too much plot.
It's a long movie. This tape is heavy.
Well, first you have to introduce that Robin is, or not Robin Hood. What? First you have to introduce that Peter Pan is a shitty dad.
Right.
He's obsessed with work and he's forgotten how important his kids are. Then you have to introduce that like Peter Pan is real and he's now in the real world and a shitty dad. Then we introduce him going into Netherworld, or what is it? Neverland. And then we have to retrain him to be Peter Pan. I was just like, get the fuck on with it.
There's a lot. And then he's got to face Captain Hook, who has stolen his children.
This movie, to me, like, I can't, to be honest, I really, rewatching this, I can't stand the adult section, the whole Earth section. I don't, Earth, that's how I describe it. But the real world, I'm like, no, I don't care.
I'm a little different from you. I kind of like the human stuff, and it's when we like kind of first get to Neverland that I kind of get a little like checking my watch, because like the training of Peter Pan doesn't really get fun until the eating paint scene that we referenced or whatever. Anytime Hook's on screen, it's amazing, but anytime Peter Pan's on screen, or like, you know, Peter Banning, I think his name is. Yeah.
It's the whole Banning family. Which I guess that's because Banning.
Yeah, probably.
Were they trying to do I don't know, something there?
Something close to it or whatever. But yeah, the whole like him learning to be Peter Pan again section, that doesn't do much for me. To me, the human, you know, the Lost Boys and shit are human, but the Earth portion, the not Neverland portion, I like because it does feel very Spielberg to me because it's more what I'm sort of used to for him. And it's it's Spielberg looking for his father, like every movie he makes.
I know. Like, it gets to a certain point, you're like, yeah, we get it. You have daddy issues.
Yeah, it's like, woo, every movie, man, shit.
Personally, my favorite one of his is like that is The Last Crusade. I know you're kind of like iffy on The Last Crusade.
Yeah.
But I really liked it, mostly because Sean Connery is just...
Oh, yeah.
It's like Sean Connery decided to sit down and he's like, you know what? This whole movie, having fun.
Yeah, no, and I still like The Last Crusade. I just prefer the other two because it's the least about Spielberg's daddy issues.
Well, yeah.
The other two, not... The Last Crusade is all about Spielberg's daddy issues.
And then you get the Crystal Skull.
I'm fine with the Crystal Skull. I'm never going to say that it's great, but
you're
I enjoy
it.
it.
You're lying out loud to yourself right now.
I enjoy it.
Everyone in this world is hearing you now. Thanks for listening.
I am calling it now. Throwing down money now. It's never going to become like a classic. Never.
Yeah.
People are going to find this movie in 10 years. Crystal Skull. People are going to be like, I get it. I get it. And there's going to be people that like it like me. It's going to happen. I'm calling it now. This is not one of the Matt's like just for me movies. This one's gonna find an audience.
I'm never gonna remember that you said this in 10 years.
Yeah, but it is on air. We could go back and listen to it.
That's true.
This will last forever.
Someone remind us in 2029.
Oh, God. Fuck. I'm getting so old.
Here's some things I find interesting about it. So you leave... Or you go into the real world and you lose your memories.
Mm.
Okay, but you go back into Netherland. Oh, why did I keep saying that? Neverland. I keep saying Neverland. It's Neverland, right?
Well, I think it's both. Because I think in this, they just have it listed as Neverland. Yeah, they just have it listed as Neverland.
Okay, Neverland. That's probably why I keep saying it. Okay. Maybe Disney does Neverland?
Probably.
I don't know.
That's probably sounds like more of a cartoon thing to do. But this one goes by Neverland.
So, at the end of this film, spoiler, they come back and everyone's happy. In a couple years, are they going to forget about Neverland?
Yeah. But they can't... They will forget about Neverland, but I think the point of the movie is they can't forget like that part of them that Neverland changed in them. They might forget about Neverland, but he's got to be a better dad.
Yeah. Stop being a dick.
Yeah. I think that's what we're supposed to take away from the end.
And another thing about this is I was trying to figure out certain parts in this story. Like they wanted to make this all a dream. But then at the end, what's-his-name finds his marbles and flies. And I was kind of like scratching my head. I was like, I'm so confused.
I think that's like that Spielberg magical realism where it's like, it could all be a dream, but then it's like, but no, magic is real. Yay!
Yeah, I know. I was very confused at the end of it, but I was like, okay, so it is real? I'm going to go with that. That's what I'm sticking with. It's real-ish. But characters in this that I really love. Dustin Hoffman, I think this is honestly his best performance I've ever seen. I know he won an Oscar for Rain Man. I don't give a shit.
I'm going to fucking watch Hook before Rain Man any day of the week.
Yeah.
So, I love him in this.
I forget it's him.
Yeah, he disappears in this role.
Honestly, if you would have told me one day, it's like, oh, Dustin Hoffman, the guy who's in Rain Man and stuff, he's going to play Captain Hook, I would have been like, I don't...
Why? Isn't there somebody a little, bigger?
Yeah, definitely bigger. And that line in this movie where he's just like, I remember you being bigger. And he goes, as a kid, I'm a giant. Or whatever.
Yeah, right. And then you get Dustin Hoffman, but it works so well.
And then Bob Hoskins as Mr. Smee. Those two together... Oh man, I want to watch a whole nother film with them.
Did you read about how they sort of found their characters?
No.
Hoskins couldn't wrap his head around it. He couldn't figure out how to kind of do Smee, and he was having a conversation with Dustin Hoffman, and they've decided together that they were gonna play it as old gay lovers, and that's how they found the characters by just playing it as their gay lovers in Neverland. And that's why it works, I think, so well, why they're so funny together.
That explains when he puts the gun to his head, which, by the way, was pretty dark for a kid's film.
Oh, yeah.
I was impressed. That's Spielberg for you.
Yeah, he'll push buttons. He can get away with that shit.
An epiphany. Epiphany what? My life is over.
that mean you've lost your appetite?
Yes. Oh, goodbye.
Where are you going? Are you getting dramatic?
Goodbye, Smee.
Captain, why don't we play with your island? Eh? You know, all the little Indians and the soldiers and all the lost boys?
No stopping me this time, Smee. This is it. Don't make a move, Smee. Not a step. My finger's on the trigger. Don't try to stop me, Smee.
Oh, not again.
This is it. Don't try to stop me this time, Smee. Don't try to stop me this time, Smee. Don't you dare try to stop me this time, Smee. Try to stop me. Smee, you better get up off your ass. Get over here, Smee.
I'm coming.
Smee! This is not a joke. I'm committing suicide. Don't ever frighten me like that again.
I'm sorry.
Well, are you some kind of a sadist?
I'm sorry. How's you feel now?
I want to die.
Oh, no.
There's no adventure here.
You call this no adventure?
Death is the only great adventure I have left, Smee.
Come on, let's get you into bed.
And he puts it down, and he's just like, "I'm gonna do it." And you can see Smee going like, "Oh God, again." And then he's just don't let me do it. Don't let me do it. It's like don't ever scare me like that. I love how Hook says to Mr. Smee as Hook has a gun to his head, like, "Don't ever scare me like that." You know,
Right,
like-
right. It's so fun.
I mean, obviously, Hook is a selfish lover.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Smee's just used to it and loves him anyway.
But those two, I could watch a big gay adventure with them. I'd do it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They're great in this movie together and separate. They're great in this movie. Bob Hoskins, though, is great in everything. Dustin Hoffman's pretty hit or miss, but he shines in this movie.
Yeah, I never know. I mean, sometimes Dustin Hoffman, I just think because his camera presence is so good, he just kind of like coasts.
Yeah, a lot of the
in
time
some
he does.
movies.
Yeah.
And then other ones, he's really inspired, like Hook.
Yeah.
And then he just blows the top off the VHS.
Yes,
It's so
exactly.
good.
Yeah, he's fucking wonderful. But my real only negative thing I have about this movie, because I love this movie still, but my negative thing is fucking Julia Roberts gotta go. Gotta go.
Man,
I don't want
this is-
Tinkerbell in this movie fucking at all.
Okay, yeah, so I was reading, that's one of the things I focused on when researching this, was Julia Roberts, the fans hate Julia Roberts as Tinkerbell. I just never, like, because she's such a side character, it's almost like she shouldn't even be in the film.
That's more my problem. I don't have it out for Julia Roberts. I've never been a big Julia Roberts fan. I feel like she coasts a lot. That's why I'm not a big fan of hers either. But like, I don't hate that she's in this movie. I just don't think she needs to be in this movie. Like, there's so much, like you said, story going on with everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
The scenes with Tinkerbell just feel so tacked on and so forced. And I'm like, get back to the story we're actually watching here. I don't need any of this shit.
Well, I mean, that's part of my thing. Is this movie's so long because there's so much going on, and I'm like, we need to simplify this. I could easily, but how do you take Tinkerbell out of a Peter Pan movie?
Yeah, I would just do an animated character that flies around, pops in every now and again, but very little dialogue. No story, because this has the whole unrequited love story with her and Peter Pan and everything in it. Take all that shit out. You can have Tinkerbell in the movie, but just have her be, just there, not give her own plot. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, Tinkerbell wants to jump Peter Pan's bones here.
Yeah.
I guess this is more true to the story, and not the Disney story.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I've never read the book. I'm just not a big Peter Pan guy, so the Peter Pan Disney one was never something that I went back to. To me, this movie isn't a Peter Pan movie. It's a Hook movie. I mean, obviously, it's called Hook.
Yeah,
but
they know what is selling this movie.
Because I honestly, I could, and this is really weird to say, I could take or leave Robin Williams in this. Because he's perfect casting as Robin Hood, but I'm not really interested in Robin Hood's family. I'm more
Peter
interested.
Pan's family.
I mean, I did it again. Damn,
That's how they get you.
well, the green tights. And
Yeah.
the green, shit. I'm just not interested in Peter Pan and his family. I'm more interested in the Lost Boys and the pirates in this world. And I mean, Peter Pan as Robin Williams as Peter Pan, that's perfect casting. So I don't know why I don't like it more.
Yeah.
It's
because it takes so long for us to get that.
Yeah.
So that you spend more than half the movie with not Robin Williams as Peter Pan. But by the time you get it, you're like, well, I already kind of adjusted to this. Like, I'm not really getting much satisfaction out of seeing him as Pan. I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
You want to know something that blew my mind? Maggie Smith, who plays Wendy Darling, she was 57 in this movie.
Isn't this old age makeup incredible?
Yeah.
This is what she looks like now.
Yeah.
Like, they nailed it.
Yeah, and it creeps me out because I feel bad for Maggie Smith too, because I don't know if she's ever been young. Like I think she hit puberty and just looked old.
Well, I think when she kind of burst onto the scene, started becoming sort of a known actress, who was in her 40s. So I mean, that's all we know. That's all we know of her.
Maybe what it is. Yeah.
I mean, she was in stuff before then, but when we knew her as Maggie Smith, she was mom age, and now she's grandma age. So. But yeah, in this movie, I think this is Greg Canham, when I looked this up, multi-award-winning makeup person. But this old age makeup is some of the best I've fucking ever seen. Like, outside of maybe The Godfather and The Exorcist, the Hook.
Yeah, it's definitely right when she comes on and he talks to Peter Pan, like, I can't go back with you, and I was like, whoa, Maggie Smith, because I was doing the math in my head, because I went up and I looked up what her age was now, and I'm like, but this is a 30-year-old movie.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Right.
And
it's crazy.
They
nailed it. They nailed it.
And they're making her look like a 92-year-old in this. I did not know that Wendy Darling was supposed to be 92. So right now, I think Maggie Smith is 87. So she's actually, Wendy Darling is older than the real Maggie Smith currently today.
Yeah. They did a damn good job.
So do you have any favorite scenes in this that you want to like really?
Well, if we're going to talk about the scene is the eating scene. I think that is the scene in this movie. I remember as a kid just wishing I could be there for it. And then so now when I watch that scene, I feel like a kid again. That scene really kicks it open the door. It's sort of the Peter Pan section of the movie as well. We've gone from the Peter Banning section to the Peter Pan section when that scene happened. It's great.
Turn your popo, Peter. How is it?
Bangarang.
Peter! Kid! Hey, Pockets! Catch! Don't ask!
Hey, Panda Man, catch this!
Peter, look out! Peter, watch out!
The paints all look incredible. They all look like Superman ice cream, and then like like them, fantasizing about eating. What kid didn't do that? Like pretending they had the feast in front of them. It's fucking great. That's a standout to me. I could watch that scene every day for the rest of my life and be fine with it. Just that scene, though.
It's a pretty good one. My big scene is I really like Hook and Smee, like, alone in their little room. Like I already described it. Like when he shoots the ship and it sinks.
Yeah.
I love that. But, man, the last fight at the end, when
Rufio dies, guys.
The reason I really like that that entire scene is even Spielberg, I was surprised they did it.
Yeah. They went there.
I mean, Bangarang! Dead.
Hook fucking kills Rufio, man.
Yeah. I mean, that takes a lot of courage.
Yeah. And already you've built up, for kids, probably one of their favorite characters. My favorite character when I was a kid, though, was always the big kid, the real fat one. Oh. I love that kid. He's so likable.
He's got a really, I don't know, Stampede. It's not Stampede.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking. Yeah, he's got like a name of referencing his size.
Yeah, I can't remember what it is. It's something like that. I liked Pocket, too. The little kid who, like the fortune-telling kid who was like, come here, Peter, and he touches his face. Yeah. Just like, oh, there you are.
That kid's pretty great, too.
Yeah.
Great actors in this, honestly, all the way around. The son is an incredible actor, I think.
You may think that. I don't like him at all. It's not his acting. It's that kid freaks me out.
He has resting sad face.
Yeah.
That's why he's in this movie, I think. Though.
I like him better in Dick Tracy.
Okay.
And I mean, Dick Tracy's got that attitude, and he's kind of like, he's got a lot of energy. And this one, I don't know. Like, I didn't like him as a kid, and I rewatched it as an adult. And I'm like, I just don't like you. I mean, I know that's bad to say about a kid, but I don't care. There's something about you.
Yeah. No, I feel like Spielberg cast him in this movie just because he has the saddest eyes I've ever seen. And so, like, when the scenes, like, the baseball scene with the Hook and everything where he's sad about his dad, like, when he's crying, he's so pathetic looking. And I think that's why he's great in the movie, and I think that's why it's testament to Spielberg's great casting, but I could see that freaking somebody out, don't you?
Sitting there watching him, I'm like, no, I don't want you on my screen right now. Now he's like a Republican lawyer or something like that. He went to Yale. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Libertarian lawyer. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I'll take a libertarian lawyer. Republican lawyer can go fucking
a libertarian, or as I like to call it, a fake Republican. I haven't quite made the leap yet.
Yeah, right. I'm a Republican, but I like weed too.
Yeah, that's the little girl though, Amber Scott. I feel bad for her because she had a couple lines where I was like, "There you go, you're changing your decibel level. Good for you." Like when she's like, "Robin Hood is my dad."
Peter Pan. You did.
Or Peter. Damn it! Peter Pan is my dad, and I was like, "There you go, you changed it." But there's a lot of lines where she's like, she's screaming it at the, not maybe like yelling it at the same level. But I think that's the thing that kid actors do sometimes.
I also just think she didn't have a lot to do in this movie. Period.
Yeah.
Here is her purpose in this movie. She is in this movie so that Spielberg can do his classic zoom in as she says something real intense.
Yeah.
That's what she's in this movie for.
I mean, it worked because when she says Peter Pan is my dad, I think he does.
As the camera is like coming up. Yep.
It's like panning straight into her face, and I'm like, oh, well, that's
the classic Spielberg shot.
Spielberg's like, please, you got to get this line right.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think there was one, I can't remember when she was saying it. I think it was maybe on the pirate ship. And you're like, Dad, help me. Dad, help me. You know, it was like just the exact same level. Yeah. And I'm like,
She's little. That's probably why. I know. You can't probably pull anything out of her because she's fucking 4, you know?
That's exactly what I was thinking. I go, wow, I'm really surprised. I mean, she's cute. So I think that's why she was cast. She could remember her lines. She was cute. But they probably could have picked an older actress and gotten a little bit more out of it. But it doesn't really matter. She's not much part of the... This is really about Peter Pan and his son when it comes to like the real world story of it. And I it worked at the end, I guess. If you're into it, I think this would play better with a dad. Because when the mom says, you only have so many years where they want to be a part of your life before they're going to be running away from you. And I really thought that was a great line, but it's completely wasted on me. Because I was like, that a dad would hear that and be like, oh, shit, she's right.
But and not Spielberg's dad, though.
Well, I don't know. Maybe Spielberg's dad was a workaholic, too.
Probably.
Maybe that line is specifically like, hey, Dad, did you watch Hook? Like a 45-year-old Spielberg. Did you watch Hook? No, I didn't have time. Sorry, son.
It's probably exactly what that is. Like
a couple years later, he's like, hey, did you see Schindler's List? It's like considered top 10 greatest film all time. Did you see it, Dad? I'm going to get to it. It's in my pile. It's about those Jews, right? Dad, we're Jewish. I think, right?
Yeah, I think that's ripped straight from the Spielberg biography, actually. I think that's 100% true.
I pretty much George Costanza is Spielberg's dad in my head. What are you talking about?
So they show Spielberg's dad in the Spielberg documentary that's on HBO. He is. That's exactly what he is. Like, that's exactly what he's like.
I haven't seen it. We saw it one day. It popped up when I was home for Christmas. And my brother had HBO on. And I go, oh, what is this? Because it showed Lucas and Spielberg playing pool or something.
Yeah.
And they were all... And that was like... It was so cheesy because they were like shooting... themselves play pool. I was like, Jesus, directors, get you.
Yeah.
You take some time off.
You're right, yeah.
But I'm glad you did it because it looks good for the documentary.
That fucker's like 4 hours long, though. So
oh, really?
Yeah, you gotta set aside some time for that.
Is it like all of his family and friends?
It's his whole life. It's every movie. They take each one. They go like in order and take each one. It's like the fucking, like those Friday the 13th and the Nightmare on Elm Street documentaries where they just go through everything. So that's what they do with Spielberg, and it's fantastic. Yeah. If you're a nerd like us, it's fantastic. But you got to set aside 4 hours for it,
or break it up into 1 hour segments.
That's what I did.
Yeah, that's what I had to do with Nether. Parf. She loves Spielberg. Big fan.
Big fan.
The Freddy one, the Nightmare on Elm Street one. I had to break that one up in parts.
Yeah,
it's like too much. It's too much.
I gotta set aside some time. That Hellraiser one just popped up on Shudder.
Oh man, Shudder's documentaries are really good.
Yeah, like I'm ready to dig into it.
And even the ones they didn't make, they just bought.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's a purchase or whatever.
I mean, but they're purchasing really good ones.
Yeah, they got the Pet Sematary one on there. They've got the Fright Night one on there.
Fright Night one, I love.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah,
that one's 3.5 hours also.
Yeah, I learned a lot about the movie. And there's stuff in there like honestly, my brain probably shouldn't keep in there, but it's going to. So I got that filed away in useless documentary shit, right?
Yep. Yeah. So they do cover Hook a little bit in there, but more so, what is accurate is your impression of his father.
That's amazing. Yeah. I mean, Spielberg, they probably didn't talk much about it because Spielberg's not a big fan of it.
That's what they said. He felt he was disappointed with himself when this one came out. Yeah, he felt like he could have done a better job with Peter Pan.
One of the quotes I took out was, I wanted to see Hook again because I so don't like that movie. And I'm hoping someday I'll see it again and perhaps maybe like it. And then he went on about how he didn't feel comfortable about the screenplay and the story, and every time he didn't feel comfortable about it, he just like threw more color and crap onto the film.
I mean, every dollar's on screen and it looks great. Yeah. But yeah, it's an overstuffed movie for sure. This is a 90s example. More is more, and I kind of like more is more. So
yeah, I mean they do. I do really like the giant gator.
Yeah, that giant gator when I was like 3 years old when I saw this for the first time scared the shit out of me.
I was very confused as a kid. I was like, wait, did the gator come to life and swallow him and then refreeze? Like stuff.
Yeah.
And never, I even as an adult, I was thinking, I go, what are they trying to pull off there? That like the gator crushed him, but they look around and he just disappears. So I mean, that's why I'm hoping there's a Hook 2, and it's them in like a geriatric
I don't think we're gonna get it. I don't think we're gonna get it. Hook 2. Hoskins is gone. Williams is gone, and Justin Hoffman's inappropriately touching people. So
CG.
Yeah, right. Just all CG cast. Rufio's revenge. Bring him back.
What if we did a Peter Pan movie with no Peter Pan, no Hook, and it's just Rufio? Okay.
Well, they did try to do, what if we did a Peter Pan movie, but Hook is the ally, not the villain? You got Pan, which was just the biggest piece of shit.
Never saw it.
Oh, God.
Is that the one with Johnny Depp?
No.
Is Johnny Depp in a new one, or is he in the old one?
Johnny Depp is in one? Is he in that one? No, he's not in that one.
I don't fucking know anyone.
I don't think anybody's in that one. Rooney Mara's in that one. He's in Finding Neverland.
Finding Neverland.
That's the one about the author who wrote Peter Pan.
Oh, that sounds lame. I ain't watching that.
And I think it's just about that little. It's Freddie Highmore from Bates Motel as a little kid. And I think it's just like about him dying.
Oh,
so it's just like a fucking major bummer movie.
That's why it has really good ratings.
Yeah, of course. Everybody, falls for that shit every time.
82% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's about an author. That sounds boring to me.
I'm not gonna see Finding Neverland ever. But no, Pan is just the recent, like 2014, 15 one.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
It's fucking terrible. It's terrible. Don't do it. The only thing that came out of that was I was watching it on a bootleg that somebody gave me when I used to work at the film festival, and the bootleg had subtitles, and at the end of the movie they were like going to Neverland, and the subtitles were all bootleg, and it just said Neverfland. So now I just say Neverfland all the time.
Worth it.
Yeah, worth it just for that.
Hugh Jackman is Hook?
Mm-mm.
No, I don't know who he is.
He's the other villain because Hook is a good guy in this one.
Oh, Jesus. Whatever.
It's a piece of shit. Yeah, it's a piece of shit. Don't see it. But Hook is pretty good.
Yeah, Hook's. I would suggest watching it mostly for the costumes and some stellar performances throughout there. Not Julia Roberts, who actually received a Golden Raspberry Award nomination for it. I didn't think she was that bad, other than you can tell she's not talking to anyone.
All of her scenes feel like reshoots, which they're probably not. It's just that she's by herself in a soundstage.
Yeah, it's very hard to do that. I don't know why you wouldn't have that actor or actress like interacting with someone and then cut it all out. But she definitely looks like she's just in a room saying lines and basically like what a voice actor would do for an animation film. But at least in that, those actually no, that's worse because most of those voice actors are probably interacting with other voice actors.
Right. She is just by herself, like being fed lines to read to the camera. Yeah. I don't like her in this. I mentioned the crocodile freaked me out as a kid. One thing I didn't mention at the beginning was like kind of the references to Hook at the beginning in the real world scared me a lot too as a kid, especially like when you see the Hook as like the window clasp and stuff, and they're like the window washer was watching us, and I was like, that's fucking terrifying.
Well, didn't Hook also like scrape up the walls?
Yeah, it was like Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, that's what I remember as a kid. I think I went to the bathroom and then came back. I'm like, damn it, I missed it. I'm not rewinding it. This movie's too long.
Yeah, it's some of that stuff early on with the references to Hook is pretty freaky, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this stuff shines, and just a lot of it needs to be cut. And it's just too long. I think in a movie like this, I'm going to say you shouldn't go over something like 110 minutes.
I really didn't feel the runtime personally.
I
have some problem with parts. Like I was saying, I don't like the training Peter Pan as much as the rest of the movie. But for me, this one actually, I don't feel the runtime for the most part. I was just feeling like a little kid again watching it. Pretty much all of it. I mean, there's so many specific scenes that stand out to me from like childhood, like the kid bouncing the baseball in the airplane, the baseball scene with Captain Hook, Hook's introduction when he's sharpening the hook. All these little images just like flush back to me from childhood when I watch this.
What about the Boo Box?
Oh yeah,
that
with
one,
Glenn Close.
Glenn Close dressed as a man, uncredited.
Where's the carpet, Smee?
Oh, sorry, sir.
You! That's right, you! No, not you! Not you! You bet against me bringing Pan back here, didn't you?
No.
Tell your captain the truth. Oh, say it. Say it.
I did.
Yes, you made a boo-boo.
I did. I did.
The boo box.
No, no,
The boo box. Yes.
Very interesting. There's a lot of interesting cameos in this film.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one where they stick the scorpions in the box. Mm-hmm. I was like, what, huh? That is so random, and they're just like, and never come back in the film.
That was another
Freaked
thing
me
that freaked me out as a kid.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in a box with scorpions.
And Phil Collins is a cop.
Yeah. Early on in the movie, Phil Collins.
I didn't even know that until this viewing. Oh, how many times I've watched this? I was like, wait, is that Phil Collins?
I actually think I had the exact same thing. I don't think I ever realized that until watching this for this podcast. It's like, the fucking Phil Collins.
I kind of had fun with that because about 15 minutes later in the film where I got a little bored, I go, I'm going to look that up. It was like, oh shit, it is Phil Collins.
Did you see that, like, he apparently took that very seriously, and that was like a really big deal to him that he was getting like an acting part in a Spielberg movie, and then he was disappointed because they cut his scene down like from what it originally was.
I mean, anyone who's doing a small cameo role like that, all of it's going to be cut down because you're never going to be important to the story. If you're not cut down, you're probably killing the pacing.
Right, exactly. But he like took it so seriously, which I just think is fucking hilarious.
Kind of cool because I mean he's never going to be in another Spielberg movie again, as far as I know. So yeah,
do it up.
You did fine.
Yeah, it was fun to see him pop up.
I also wanted to know, did Tinkerbell kidnap Peter Pan? Because it shows Peter Pan in his little, I don't know, whatever you call that, stroller that you put in a kid, like the old school stroller, and it was going down the hill, but Peter Pan is overlaid saying, like, I ran away because I didn't want to grow up. And I'm like, how do you run away? You're a kid.
Yeah, I feel like missing father thing, I feel like he was neglected.
Yeah.
And that's why he was rolling away, and Tinkerbell saved him. That's what I think it is. I think it's another absentee parent thing here. And then he's repeating, the past. He's being the absentee father now.
I mean, she was just having a nice little talk about her son's new future as a lawyer. Can't pay attention to him all the time.
Right. And
even though that is an infant.
And then Tinkerbell wanted to fuck that baby.
I do find it interesting they say that no one ages in Neverland. But how did Peter Pan enter Neverland as a baby and then grow up to, like, the young Peter Pan that we know?
Do they get to a certain age and stop, maybe?
I don't know the rules.
Because there's no babies in Neverland, so maybe they just get to a certain age and stop.
But who decides that age? Because Pocket was much younger.
I don't know.
We're poking holes in your store here, Spielberg.
I don't know. And I don't care.
Behind the scenes, there's not much more. We've talked about most of them, but I did notice that Julia Roberts and Spielberg had a pretty... they
had a tumultuous relationship on this film.
Pretty shitty relationship here. She's got some interesting things. It was an unfortunate time for us to work together. In a 1999 Vanity Fair interview, Roberts said that Spielberg's comments really hurt my feelings. She couldn't believe this person that I knew and trusted was actually hesitating to come to my defense. It was the first time that I felt I had a turncoat in my midst. I was like, Jesus, would you just get off a Civil War movie? The only reason I'm kind of mocking her is because Julia Roberts has a lot of quote-unquote problems with people she's worked with. And after a while, I'm like, if there's smoke, there's probably fire.
Yeah, she's a bit of a exaggerator, and usually these problems are caused by her. The reason Spielberg had such a hard time with her is because she was divorcing Kiefer Sutherland, and she fled the country. And it's like Spielberg is just trying to work, and he's like, "I need you on set," and she's like, "Oh, I gotta be out of the country because I'm sad." And it's like, you signed up to work on this. Like, that's your fucking fault. Like,
yeah, she's an odd duck with some of her stuff, and I don't know what he said. I don't know if who knows? It doesn't really matter, but Julia Roberts has had a number of films where she's had problems.
Yeah, I think she's the problem, and I don't even know why directors would bother working with her, because I do think she gives just very generic performances most of the time.
Her name's a draw.
That's it. But
I wouldn't want
to do it.
There's other movies where I think she does fantastic. I mean, Aaron Brockovich.
Well, yeah,
I mean, she's such an odd presence, because like when I watch Charlie Wilson's War, she's wonderfully weird as the rich, eccentric donor Republican Christian woman in it. She's weird, and she does a really good job. And then I've seen her in other movies where I'm like, what? Why are you here?
Yeah, just like flatline. Just showing up, smiling, and cashing a paycheck.
Mostly all those stupid comedies that she did for a while.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she's just cashing a paycheck until she got a role that she could care about.
Yeah.
Yeah, so her and Dustin Hoffman had a lot. I mean, yeah, they had a lot to talk about. It's like, how many roles have you sleepwalked and made money through? 8 or 9 in a row.
Yeah, honestly, both of them.
But she wasn't really big at this point. She was growing.
Yeah, this was just post Pretty Woman.
Yeah,
just post that. So it was about it. This was about to be the explosion of Julia Roberts. Like,
yeah, where if you couldn't escape her. Let's see. Spielberg considered at one time, at the very beginning, directing this as a musical with Michael Jackson as the lead.
Mm-hmm. That's how it started with him.
And get this, Jackson was the one who's just like, I'm not interested in that. I don't want a Peter Pan where he forgets his past or he grows old. I was like, what?
Oh, Michael Jackson.
I mean, that's how big Jackson was at that time.
Yeah.
He could probably have a personal meeting with Spielberg and be like, not good enough for me.
Yeah, I don't need it. I don't need it.
Yeah.
I'm Michael Jackson.
I've got too many monkeys to take care of.
Yeah, it doesn't, and I've got
chimpanzees.
so much fucking money. I don't need this.
So Nick Castle worked on this story first, and Nick Castle is famously known for playing Michael Myers in the first Halloween, but he's also a writer-director.
Yeah.
And he wrote this story, and he was very much interested in it, because first Spielberg wanted to do this in like 85 with Disney. That didn't go well. Then Nick Castle worked on this story where Peter Pan grew older.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess Dustin Hoffman and Robin Williams had created differences with him directing the film. I mean, this was only like 3 years past The Last Starfighter, which I personally love. One of the greatest Star Wars ripoffs ever. Yeah, I could see how he wasn't a big enough name to like carry these stars.
Yeah, he was originally supposed to direct this, and
well, I mean, they settled with him. They gave him $500,000 to walk away, but we'll give you a writing credit. Damn.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. Pretty nice gig.
Yeah. And then I guess some writers redid Hook's line. Peter, a lot of these lines were done, but the one I found fascinating was Carrie Fisher actually did Tinker Bell's lines, but for some reason got uncredited because the union stepped in and like, okay, this person's got to be credited as this writer, and this one's got to be a producer, and yada 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 yada, all this crap that the union will do. How the hell did she not get a writing credit?
Well, apparently she rewrote a lot of this movie. Probably not like more than 50%, which I think is what you need to do to get a credit. But she rewrote a lot of this movie, and she did this a bunch in this time, the late 80s, early 90s, where she rewrote scripts, and they would not give her credit for it. And she just was the fucking champ she is and just rolled with it. But
she got paid.
She got paid, but she actually did rewrites
really,
on this movie.
That's what really surprises me, that she got paid and didn't get credit, because that just seems like the whole point of a union is to not only get you paid, but to represent you.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of dumb shit like that. It happened. It's still happening today with writers, but she worked on this movie.
Did you ever play the Super Nintendo game for this?
Absolutely not. Didn't even know there was one.
Me neither.
This is news to me.
So we've got nothing on that one. It was it was nominated for, what is that, 5 Academy Awards?
Yeah.
We've got Best Production Design, which it lost to Bugsy. I've never seen that. Best Costume Design also lost to Bugsy. Maybe I should see Bugsy. Best Visual Effects lost to Terminator 2. Well, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Best Makeup, it lost to Terminator 2. And then Best Original Song, When You're Alone, but it lost to Beauty and the Beast song. So, yeah, what are you going to do there?
Yeah. I've never seen Bugsy. I feel like the other ones are justified, but I don't know. Bugsy didn't last like Hook did, so
I've never even seen it.
Well, isn't Bugsy Warren Beatty's movie after Dick Tracy?
It's definitely Warren Beatty, but I don't.
I think he directed that as well.
Yeah,
so I think that was his movie after Dick Tracy. Whatever.
Okay.
I probably will never see it. It's nice to say I'll see it, but I probably will never see it.
No, that's all I got for this. So
the only other thing that I saw was how Gwyneth Paltrow appears briefly in the movie as Wendy's younger version self. And what I read was that her dad fought hard to get her in this movie. Like, ripped it from another actress. I don't know who. I didn't go that deep into it.
I actually heard who was supposed to play this. Oh, I forgot.
And it would have been like the start of their career, basically, if they got this.
Well, they have a career now.
And they exactly, but this would have started things a little sooner for them. But Gwyneth Paltrow's dad just like fought to get her in this because she wanted it so bad, and she always got what she wanted. So
yeah, one of the producers wanted Meg Ryan to play Tinkerbell.
I probably would have liked that better, honestly.
I think the reason it wasn't is because it was too close to the likeness of Disney's Tinkerbell.
I can see that.
Well, because Disney doesn't own the rights to Tinkerbell, but they own the likeness to their Tinkerbell.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Like their version of everything.
So I guess they decided to go with the redheaded version, Julia Roberts. Which I don't know if that's what Tinkerbell looks like in the book. I have no idea.
Yeah, I've never.
Like I said, I'm not a.
I don't read.
No, fuck that. Especially if it's got a man in tights or a boy in tights, I'm not reading it. So Robin Hood, Peter Pan, you're out. I'll watch your movies though.
Yeah, right. Overall, I really like Hook. I think it's a nice window to nostalgia. I think it's a nice window to the early 90s because this is what movies looked like at the time. I just have a good time watching this one.
Yeah, I'm sitting the fence. Obviously, I think you should watch this for the sheer fact that it's got so much talent in it, and it's got a couple fantastic performances. But if you skip this, I wouldn't yell at you. I'd be like, okay, I get it. Maybe it's just not for you.
Yeah, my thing isn't so much I want to yell at you. It's just give it a shot. See what you think. You don't have to like it, but give it another shot. It's been 30 years. See what you think now. That's more my take on it.
Cool. All right, but thank you again for the suggestion, Jackie. It was great, and hopefully one day we can get a couple of the other ones, because you got some good ones in your list. That Thing You Do, isn't that really... Didn't you say that's hard to get?
It's a little hard to get. It's not like a super hard
It's
one
not
to
super
find,
hard,
but it is a little hard to get.
I would do Nothing But Trouble in a second because that film is bizarre.
I've never seen it, and I know what it is. I know what it like.
Yeah.
I've seen enough of it to know how fucking weird it is, but I've never seen it. I would love to do that. That Thing You Do is one of my favorite movies. PCU is a blast from the 90s. I don't know what Big Man on Campus is, though.
Oh, Big Man on Campus. I used to watch that a lot in college. It's
Were you the big man on campus?
no. It's I think that's the one where you know what? I think I'm thinking of Dead Man on Campus.
Oh, that movie's fucking awesome.
Is Big Man on Campus, is that the caveman one she put up?
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. We'll have to look into that.
I'm definitely thinking of Dead Man on Campus.
No, that movie's fucking crazy. I love that movie.
All right, let's move on to the museum.
This is the second time I've had to reclaim my property from you.
That belongs in a museum.
So do you.
This is part of the show where we put something in our museum, which is something that we want to hold on to, some gold we found within the movie, or something that we want to learn from, so we save it so we never make that mistake again. What are you putting in the museum this week?
I'm going to put something good in the hook wing of the museum. And it's interesting because I didn't really like the kid, but that little bitty hook costume that the kid wears,
it's pretty fucking hilarious.
I wanted so bad as a kid. This is the film that made me want to be a pirate. And then when I found out that I couldn't be that cool looking of a pirate, I was like, nah, I'll just be something else.
Yeah, you just like are dirty and maybe get leprosy. Like that's that's what that actually is.
And yeah, I loved it. That costume's amazing. He's just a little bitty hook. I love it.
I'm putting in the dinner scene. I just love it so much. That is this movie to me.
Yeah.
I love that scene. It immediately rockets me back to childhood. I love the colors. I love their choices. I love it lasts the right amount of time. The kids are great in the scene. It's everything that I want out of this movie.
Yeah, that's definitely where Robin Williams shines so well. You put him around a bunch of kids like that, he is so damn good interacting with children in movies.
Yeah, food fight. It's just a food fight scene with him and a bunch of little kids. It's great.
Like I said, Robin Williams is such a perfect casting for Peter Pan. I just don't know why I don't like him as Peter Pan better.
Yeah, it's because you don't get enough of him. Probably you don't really spend a lot of time with him as Peter Pan. I'm assuming,
or I'm a sick person,
or you just hate fun.
Yeah, I do love it when Robin Williams at the very beginning of the Lost Boys, when he's getting hit with those arrows that are like when they stick to him, they go.
Yeah,
I fucking cracked up in that. I'm in this back room watching this movie by myself, laughing
nice.
at that moment.
Nice.
Okay, that's going to end it for this listener submitted week. Next week is going to be a surprise, but it's a, well, I don't know. What would you like to say about this as a sneak preview?
It's a different era than we've been talking about.
That's
and
true.
It's a different kind of movie than the ones that we've been talking about, but it is as beloved, I guess, as the ones we've talked about.
I don't know if
to an extent as beloved as some of the other ones we've talked about. But that's all I'll say.
I've never seen it.
I have.
And you have. So it'll be interesting. Come back for a different movie than what we would have never done this. That one I can be completely honest about.
Here's like the greatest teaser for it. We probably never would have done this movie, but at the same time fits so well in our wheelhouse. Like it's definitely something our listeners watched.
Probably.
So like not just the one who submitted it, like all of you guys have probably seen this. So, I think it fits in with our style here.
Yeah, definitely. And then look out for our top 10. We're going to record that very soon. I have watched almost 70 movies, which is a lot to me. Matt here has watched every movie ever made in 2018, apparently.
I did. I watched like 300 something movies. I didn't keep complete track, but like once I hit like 100 in January, I was like, oh, okay.
Wow. How's your brain not mush?
It is mush. I mentioned this when I posted this top 10 or whatever. Don't look at it, though, because it's spoilers for the episode. But I posted it on social media, and when I posted it, I said doing Horrorama helped, because at least 100 of those was from combined Horrorama last year and this year. More than 100, because I've watched almost all the submissions already before the new year that we had. So there's more movies to add to it. So over 100 movies were Horrorama. So 200 on my own isn't as impressive.
Yeah, my top 10 was tough to come up with this year. Not so. I feel like a lot of them were in the exact same like bunch. Like my couple top ones, no problem. I knew exactly what I wanted to put. But like 8 through 14, I was like, I don't know whatever.
Yeah,
it was hard.
Mine is like, if you look at the list, you'd be like, yeah, of course, those are like the 10 movies that Matt liked this year. Mine is like, there's no surprises on my list this year.
Oh no, if it was no surprises, then we could just look at like, what is that, Looper on YouTube or what? There's a video thing that they do a bunch of top 10 lists, and like every time I see one of their lists, I was like, of course.
Well, yeah. No, I mean, I've seen a lot of top 10 lists where I rolled my eyes and said, of course. This year, those people know who they are. But, yeah, I mean, also at that same accord, like, yeah, you look at my list and it's like, yep, that's the shit that Matt likes. And maybe only Matt likes, but that's okay.
Hey, you introduced me to a few last year that I run back. Tragedy Girls. I don't know if I would have watched that if you wouldn't have put that in your top 10. I just think it's not that I didn't want to. It just too busy, and it would have gone under the radar.
And it just like popped up on Hulu or whatever, and that was kind of it. It didn't get like a big kind of release. Yeah, that movie's fucking incredible. So I hope more people see it. If you haven't seen Tragedy Girls yet and you listen to this podcast, it's tailor-made for you. Fucking watch it. Like...
Yes. And, we'll end it officially here. Remember to rate and review us on iTunes. Subscribe on iTunes. Subscribe on Podbean, YouTube. We are on so much now. I see people in Australia. Our Australia audience has really picked up, which is great. I didn't expect that. So it's spreading. I love it. And check out a lot of the trailers that we put on YouTube. Not for Hook here. Amblin let us down. But.
There's plenty of other stuff that New Line has more than made up for on that list. And I just want to say thank you to those, again, who wrote in and gave us suggestions. Whether we could cover them or not, this time we will get to them. Thank you for taking the time to write in and for listening. And I hope I got all the responses to everybody. Let's keep an open dialogue. Let's keep talking, guys. We love hearing from you, whether it's to suggest movies or just say hey. So thanks for writing in the first place. And thank you, Jackie, for writing in this suggestion. Listen to the Jersey Ghouls on all of their services like iTunes and Podbean and all that stuff.
And if you want to write in with more suggestions, just write us at analogjonestof@gmail.com. And, remember to be kind.
And rewind.
Hey, everybody.
What's up?
I'm here, too.
We are the Jersey Ghouls, a horror podcast based out of the Garden State. Join us on Jersey Ghouls for Marissa's scholarly conversations.
By the way, if you Google Psycho female, you definitely don't get the name of the actress from Psycho. Join us on Jersey Ghouls for Nate's thrilling debate.
Why? Why are you so resistant against it?
Because don't you start.
Join us on Jersey Ghouls for Jackie's love of 80s slasher movie Topless Scene.
Whoa, Jackie, this is a feminist podcast.
I know. I'm a woman. And as a woman, I appreciate a nice set of jugs.
Okay, but you shouldn't call them jugs.
Hooters? Bazungas? Tatas? Dirty pillows?
I like boobs too. Can I call them fun bags?
No! We're the Jersey Ghouls. You can find us on social media by searching Jersey Ghouls on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, SoundCloud, and iTunes. You can also find our blog and podcast on our website, jerseyghouls.com.